Welcome back. We're talking to one of my favorite coaches, a woman who turned around the Indiana volleyball program several years back. You look at the IU record books. Best year in school history, the team coached by Sherry Dunbar that went to the Sweet 16. All-time leader in digs, a player recruited and coached by Sherry Dunbar. Best player in school history, a player recruited and coached by Sherry Dunbar. Coach, thank you so much for joining us. Talk about what spoke to you about the Indiana job where you were so successful before at the mid-major level. What ultimately made you decide to come back to Indiana?
Well, I think everybody has that choice to make. You know, when you're at a program, I was at the College of Charleston, which we were very successful, and it was a great environment for me. We won a lot of games, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think when Indiana calls, and I think if you talk to a lot of other coaches, I think they would say the same thing, you listen. And especially for me, being this my hometown, raised here and fell in love with all the athletics here, went to IU basketball games since I was 6, 7 years old. So a chance to come back home, a chance to rebuild a program, a chance to come and coach at one of the best, college environments and campuses in the country, and, just to put a mark on something and make a difference, I thought was worth looking at.
The Big Ten is the oldest, largest, and most prestigious athletic conference in the country, but no sport, save perhaps wrestling, isn't any more dominant than it is in volleyball. Your team battled in the Big Ten, tooth and nail, about 500 in league play, yet you were one of the 9 best teams in the country the year you went to the Sweet 16. Talk about how tough the Big Ten is.
Yeah, it's every weekend, and that's actually one of the reasons I took the job. We call it in our program an enjoyable challenge, because you really have to love that type of challenge, because every weekend you're going to play All-Americans, national champions, top 10 opponents. So I think it really pushes you to see what your best is all about in practice and every Friday and Saturday night. So the preparation, if you want to, and it's an old cliche, if you want to be the best, you have to play the best. And I think we have that opportunity, and you have to look at it as an opportunity. Otherwise, it gets to be a grind, after a while. And 2 years ago when we went to the Sweet 16, we came up with some huge wins at the end, beating a lot of top 10 opponents just to get in the tournament, and we were a very good team. You can be a very good team and finish in last place in the Big Ten and be in, the top 3 in any other conference. But we choose the Big Ten. Our recruits choose the Big Ten to come here, and we enjoy that challenge.
Last year, at least to me as an observer and a fan of your program, seemed to be as important a year for your program as the Sweet 16 year. Battled injuries, a lot of players got experience maybe earlier than you had originally planned, but they continued to battle. They pulled for each other all the way through the end of the season, never stopped fighting, and you can tell in the way they've been practicing heading into this year that it's really going to pay benefits coming into this next fall.
Well, I think you've seen, as you've been with sports for a long time, there are years that you go through, and you don't want to call them flukes, and things happen. But I think the most important thing to me as that was transpiring was that we keep our foundation of our program and the culture that we've built over the last 5 years intact and stronger than ever, and individually gain a lot of experience and get some of these players a lot better. And I think we did all that, and we came out, not feeling great about the situation of where we finished in the Big Ten, but I think feeling good about the culture and able to move forward quicker than having to go back and kids aren't happy or things aren't working the way you want them to work. I think we just started then at the very end and said, okay, now we move forward. We get kids back that are healthy. We bring in 5 new players next year. And we get back to rolling a little bit.
It's a phenomenal spectator sport, but about 7, 8 years ago, you could go to an IU volleyball match and be basically guaranteed that you'd get one of the pizzas that was thrown out to the crowd from sports marketing. Now, game management for IU athletics has to have meetings with NDOT and the local police to deal with traffic problems. Talk about the surge in fan support for your program over your tenure.
Well, what I liked is even this past year when we struggled, we still had packed stands, a lot of matches. And I think what we've built is, volleyball, what I love about the sport of volleyball is, and nothing against men's basketball and football and everything, but you're at Assembly Hall and you're really far away from those guys. You don't really get to know them. And I think one of the benefits to playing at like a university gymnasium with a team like we have, with the personalities we have, is there's definitely a personal connection with the crowd. And we have a lot of loyal fans that come on the road with us, stay at home. And it is so wonderful to play in front of those people that they genuinely just want you to do really well. When we played Purdue 2 years ago, and we turned away 600 fans, at the door because we couldn't take any more in there. And that's the kind of environment we want, whether we stay in University Gym or eventually get a new facility, which we hope to happen. We want to make it a hard sell. We want a home court advantage because in the end, in the Big Ten, that is a huge positive for you is to get a home court advantage.
All right, Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, that wraps up this week's show. Tune in next week to This Is Indiana.